You're listening to the Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. How we doing? How we doing? Hope everybody's having a beautiful evening. Nothing like dinner time. It's official. Sacramento Kings. You got De'Aaron Fox wants to go in another direction. This is an interesting, folks, and I'll bring it to you. I just want to let you know that when I think about De'Aaron Fox, and folks, I've been on this one for a couple years now, and I said a couple years ago the Sacramento Kings are going to have to trade De'Aaron Fox, and the reason is De'Aaron Fox is a top five player in the NBA, but the question that Monty McClair, the Kings general manager, he's finally went around the horn, and it's finally dialed in, and him and the Kings owner have dialed it in that you really can't win a championship with De'Aaron Fox, right? Because Fox scores too many points. And the history of the NBA, you go all the way back to Derek Fisher. I mean, you go all the way back, and go all the way back to Bob Cousy, right? The point guard's role is to lift up everyone else around the team. Your point guard's role to be distribution, right? And with Fox, Fox is enamored, okay, with scoring. I mean, it's nothing wrong with it. It's just the fact that that's what he wants to do. Now, when you look at Monty McClair and you look at the Kings, and the Kings really, we can go all the way back to Luca with the rebuilding when they had the second pick, and again they didn't take Luca, but nevertheless they rebuild the team. Now you got a team of superstars, and De'Aaron Fox just the ball is stuck in his hands, and it's going to be frustrating for him to play. I saw the Kings go out and get a victory, had about 14 points, but he just doesn't want to play that way. Now, when you look at that and you look at Doug Christie, Doug's about team. Doug's been through this before. And you look at the Sacramento Kings and Vlade Divac, and when they really rebuilt it, I mean, they had Chris Webber. They had a great point guard, very similar to Fox. Really didn't put it in the hole like Fox or score as many points, but really was very similar, ball down, dominant, did a lot of things. And that was white chocolate, right? I mean, Williams, the point guard. I mean, he's a great point guard, fancy, make passes nobody could see, right? But the Sacramento Kings had to transition from that and go to Mike Bibby. And when they went to Mike Bibby, it elevated the team because Bibby wasn't ball dominant. He could play within the offense. And the question, there's two ways you could play this game, and you see it a lot, whether you're in the NBA, the WNBA, it doesn't really matter. You can play the game with the ball in your hands, and then the other way you got to play the game without the ball in the hands, right? So you got to look at this. What makes Curry? If you look at the difference between Steph Curry and De'Aaron Fox, okay, the real truth is Curry's kind of bought into Kerr, and at the same time, Curry can play with the ball in his hands and play with the ball out of his hands, right? So and Fox, at the end of the day, I don't know public relations how it all worked, but it just came out. Fox wants to trade. Said he wants to go to San Antonio. To play for San Antonio, you got to play without the ball in your hands. You can't be ball dominant up there. And here's a confusion that really took place with the Kings. Kind of changed things, right? So here you got Mike Brown's the head coach, and you move Mike Brown out. They make the decision. You bring Doug Christie. What does Doug Christie do? He moves Monk in the starting lineup. Monk is probably the most athletic player in the WNBA. I mean, he's just a pogo stick, right? But he can put it in the hole. Okay, so then you got Murray, right? You get Murray, first round draft pick. Murray can put it in the hole. He's got to have so many touches. These guys have got to have so many touches in the NBA to catch a rhythm. And then you you get Master P and DeMar DeRozan, right? And they're both coming in, and they didn't come to Sacramento to be second fiddle. They want to play team ball. They want ball distribution, right? And you look at it, and I look at it from the standpoint of DeMar DeRozan. I remember DeMar DeRozan with Master P when DeMar was 16 years old and he played with the P. Miller Ballers. And DeMar's a first class act, and I'll kind of tell you why. One of the things I noted about DeMar, we were on the road and I was kind of covering the team, Master P and the P. Miller Ballers. And I was covering grassroots, and we were in Las Vegas, but this time we were in Houston. And one of the things that DeMar had done, he got a technical at 16 years old. And he's quiet, very quiet. You really don't see this side of DeMar. But Master P said, hey, stop the cameras, right? And he had a one-on-one with DeMar DeRozan and let DeMar know, you know what, that's not a part of your game. And ever since then, I think it's been a life-changing for DeMar DeRozan. and he's a first-class act, no matter where he goes. Now, here's the flip side of it, because the Bay Area and everything that's going on, he landed it in Sacramento. Could have went right to L.A., but didn't do that. So now you got Murray, DeRozan, and you got Sabonis, right? So you got these guys can really move the ball, and Murray just really needs to get active in the offense so he can pass the ball. But when you look at it, and I looked at the numbers, you got somebody on the Sacramento Kings wants to trade, right? And at the guys who play in the NBA, they're smart enough. They know when it's coming. They know they're not going to get the big contract, right? There's no way the Kings are going to give a big contract to De'Aaron Fox when they can add 3 more players to De'Aaron Fox. Now, let's talk about a solution. What a Kings option? I think the number one solution that the Kings need to do is they need to go get Gabe Vincent, right? Gabe Vincent's a Sacramento product. Okay, he works right out there with Gus Armstead, Eric Armstead's father, who is out in the Jacksonville Jaguars with the San Francisco 49ers. And the thing with Gus, he's been training for a while. He's an overload on the Lakers, and the Lakers got the same issue. It's never going to go away, right? LeBron is the ball dominant, right? And at some point, LeBron needs to go take the 4th spot and let somebody else run the ball. Lakers win, right? But they don't want to do it, and it makes it tough. And I thought Fox would potentially come through the maturation process. Folks, I just recently talked about it. I'll tag the article in there, and you can take a look at that too. But the real deal is Fox, it won't work, and it can't work, right? It's not possible when you have Sabonis. Okay, you've got Murray, you got DeMar DeRozan, you got Monk, you got Herter, you got Laus. You got so many guys that can score. They really, De'Aaron Fox can go out there and get 5 or 10 points, and the Kings win ball games, right? So that's what you got. And this one here, man, shook itself up. But you know, at the end of the day, it's basketball. And you know what? Monty McClare, it's the right decision. De'Aaron Fox, it's the right decision. Money Mike Syndicated Radio Podcast. We're coming to you from Too Hot Radio under the umbrella of Rock Nation. And we're stretching and saying here, I think the Sacramento Kings need to go get Gabe Vincent, bring him home. He's a good defensive guard. The minutes are up and down. He can come in there and he can really do a good job. Played for the Miami Heat. But the Kings, they got enough scores. But what is De'Aaron Fox going to bring? What do they need? They're going to need a 6th man and a 7th man, obviously. And they're going to need a point guard. So you got to look at it a couple different ways. Monty McClare's did a heck of a job, folks. I mean, he's set them up for success. And now I think it's mutual. So I won't necessarily say Kings want him out or Fox wants to be out. I think the whole truth is they just mutually said it's best we part ways. The maturation process isn't there. And really, folks, when you get one and dones or 1 and 2 and dones, you miss the leadership process in the NBA, and that's mission critical. So we'll see where it goes. And like I said, LA's got the same problem, and I guarantee you this. Indiana Fever, WNBA, they'll have the same problem with Caden Clark. Can't have a ball-dominant point guard. That guard needs to move over to the combo. But nevertheless, we'll keep it going. You're listening to Too Hot Radio. Money Mike, I'm your host. We're coming to you under the umbrella of the Rock Nation, covering the NBA Sacramento Kings. De'Aaron Fox and the Kings looks like they're going to part ways. We'll keep you posted.